My essay discussed the effects of COVID-19 on education, and more specifically, the effects of COVID on my alma mater, the Frankfort Christian Academy. The Frankfort Christian Academy is a non-denominational private school in the capital city of Kentucky, Frankfort, of course. And with it being a small school, TFCA provides a really hands-on and really good and enriching in-person education experience. And one thing that I've learned throughout researching this and talking to the teachers at TFCA, and me even being a student going through online education last year, is that this really declined a lot of the students' success and all of that, because when you're used to that for so many years, you that experience declines and you start to struggle as a student. And so that's one struggle that I've noticed that TFCA went through, was the lack of in-person learning really put a damper on their success as students. One positive thing that I've noticed is that when TFCA returned to school back in August, the students had more ambition to learn and really embraced the in-person experience that they were getting. Unlike most of the public school students in Frankfort, they were able to see their teachers and see them in person and be around their other friends and students and get to have that true in-person learning experience. So my overall research question was, how has COVID-19 affected the education system in Frankfort, Kentucky? Of course, this is a super hot topic in Kentucky because Frankfort is the capital city, and a lot of things happen in the capital city when it affects the entire state. So I chose to interview a teacher at TFCA, even one of my former teachers. Her name is Anna Sundin. She's a graduate of Lindsey Wilson College, and she talked about the struggles of teaching online and not being able to see their students in person, and especially as a teacher, that's really, really hard to deal with, because when you're teaching and you're up there, you feed off of the students. You can't really feed off of a student or teach to your best ability when you're not in front of your students. So it was one thing that she's really struggled with, and even the teachers throughout TFCA, they've also struggled with this. But a positive thing is that, like I said earlier, these students have come back with this ambition to just learn, and they love learning, and they have so much appreciation for it because it got stripped away for them for 3 months. And sadly, the schools have shut down again in just 2 weeks ago, and the students are heartbroken. I know a lot of my friends are seniors, and they're just heartbroken that their senior year is now again being stripped away from them. A lot of the research that I found was for peer-reviewed articles, and this one article really talked about the positives and the negatives of it. Students thrive off of in-person learning, and with non-in-person learning, students are starting to decline and not succeed as much. Some of the positives is the people that are most likely introverts, or students that the quiet students that don't normally like being in person, they're the ones that thrived. But as a student and in person, it's better all around. My first interest for this topic was because I want to be a teacher. As a freshman at UK, I know that this might take a few years. Of course, it's going to take a few years to get there and everything, but I also have this feeling in my gut that when I graduate college, we will still be doing some aspect of online learning. So this topic is super, super important for students like me and for future educators all throughout Kentucky. Even if you go to school here or if you're going to move somewhere else, I'm sure it's the same. But that's really important, and that's even my target audience was future educators in Kentucky, just like myself. And it's really neat to be able to be a stakeholder in that audience and take away from this article and really learn what's working and what's not. Some of the rhetorical choices that I've chose were pathos, of course, the emotional appeal. This was probably the most impactful part of it, and this is even my visual, this is pictures from TFCA this past year. This is their outside chapel service, which has really never happened. But there was just one day, it was very nice outside, and they were able to socially distance and be able to have chapel outside. And for this to actually happen was truly, truly impactful for the students and for the staff. This picture right here is a kindergartner reading with his reading buddy. Normally, you meet with your reading buddy in person and they read you a book, and it's one of the most greatest experience that I've got to go through. And then I also got to be a reading buddy. So I got to read to younger kids, and it was truly, truly like one of the best things that I did as a kid. This picture right here is a picture of a junior biology class that's online. Biology is something super, super hard to learn over a computer. You know, you do labs and you have in-person experiences, and you learn so many things hands-on in science, and especially like biology and anatomy and places like that, that this is really, really difficult. So that was my emotional appeal. My ethos was because this is about what I want to do. You know, I feel like I'm perfectly qualified to talk about this topic because this is what I want to do in the future, and I care so, so much about this. And the one thing that really surprised me throughout researching this was the reaction of the students as they go back to school. I know I keep saying this, but it's really true to me and the impact that it's had. And then one element that I am proud of was the actual photo essay. I'm normally a very creative person, and I really like to find creative outlets for specific things. So this was really fun to do. Thank you.